you know that whenever a murder is discussed, the police's first task is to determine what the postmortem report reveals. This report forms the foundation of the investigation, as it helps identify whether the death was due to natural causes or a case of homicide. The report reveals details about what happened to the body, which ultimately led to the person's demise. But what happens when there is no postmortem report? The body is cremated. There are no witnesses and no evidence. How can such a case be solved? In situations like these, even the police may find themselves helpless. Hello, friends. How are you doing? Today, we are going to discuss the mysterious Yogesh Batra case. This story begins in the Yamunanagar district of Haryana. There is a city called Jagadhri, and within it lies Huda Sector 17. Here, there was a bungalow where a family of 4 lived, the Batra family. The family consisted of Yogesh Batra, his wife Priyanka Batra, and their 2 children. Yogesh was a businessman who owned a company called Batra Plywood, which manufactured plywood. Besides this, Yogesh ran several other businesses. He was a well-known millionaire in the city, often counted among the wealthiest individuals. Yogesh and Priyanka had been married for approximately 17-18 years, a considerable amount of time. Interestingly, theirs was a love marriage. Their 2 children were school-going, while Yogesh's parents and other family members lived in a place called Kadama in Uttarakhand. The family had no shortage of money, property, or wealth. They were a happy family with a comfortable lifestyle. The story takes a turn on May 28, 2016. Early that morning, in the Batra residence, only Yogesh, his wife Priyanka, and their 16-17-year-old daughter Wahish were present. Yogesh and Priyanka slept in the bedroom on the ground floor, while their daughter stayed on the first floor. That morning, Priyanka woke up early. It was time for Yogesh to wake up too, so she tried to wake him. She called out to him, but Yogesh did not respond. She assumed he was in a deep sleep and gently shook him while calling his name. Yet, there was no reaction. He didn't move even slightly. Alarmed, Priyanka checked his breathing and discovered that his breaths had stopped, and his heartbeat was silent. This sight terrified her. She immediately called out to her daughter and summoned some neighbors. She also informed her father about the situation. Slowly, some people started gathering. Everyone was asking, "What happened to Yogesh?" Priyanka explained. "Last night, he suddenly started feeling uneasy. He was sweating profusely, and it might have been due to a bad dream. However, after calming down, he managed to fall asleep again. But this morning, he seems to have suffered something severe, maybe a silent heart attack." During this time, Yogesh was taken to the hospital, but the doctors declared him brought dead. After the confirmation, people brought Yogesh's body back home. Priyanka's father, who was also a doctor, was informed about the previous night's incident. He also concluded it could be a heart attack. Priyanka informed her in-laws about the tragic news. Grief swept over the house like a storm. Yogesh's parents immediately left Tima for Yamunanagar to reach their son's home. By evening, they arrived and found the entire house mourning. The atmosphere was heavy with sorrow, but no one seemed surprised about Yogesh's death. Everyone believed it was due to a heart attack, a natural death. Priyanka's father convinced Yogesh's parents to accept the same. The thought of conducting a post-mortem never came up, as it seemed unnecessary. On May 29th, Yogesh Batra's last rites were performed with full rituals. Yogesh's parents decided to stay back to support Priyanka during this difficult time, ensuring she didn't feel alone. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Yogesh's parents still struggled to accept his absence, especially his mother. She was deeply affected, often dreaming about Yogesh calling for help. In her dreams, she saw him pleading, "The goons are killing me. Save me." Initially, the family dismissed her dreams as manifestations of grief. Even Yogesh's father, who had reluctantly accepted the heart attack explanation, started doubting the cause of his son's death. He began questioning, how could a healthy, 42-year-old man with no medical history or heart issues suddenly have a heart attack? June passed with these lingering doubts. Finally, Yogesh's father visited the Jagadhri police station to report his suspicions. He explained, "My son died of an alleged heart attack on May 27, 28, but I suspect foul play." The police inquired about a post-mortem report, but were informed none was conducted. With the body cremated, the case became even more complicated. Though the police registered the complaint, they assumed it was the father's grief clouding his judgment and took no substantial action. Frustrated, Yogesh's father realized he needed external help. He decided to hire a private detective agency to uncover the truth behind his son's death. After some searching, Yogesh's parents found a private detective agency and hired them to investigate. The detectives started by delving into Yogesh's life. They uncovered details about his past, including his relationship with Priyanka. During their college days, Yogesh had met Priyanka, a beauty contest winner of titles like Miss Khalsa and Miss Delhi. They fell in love and, with their family's blessings, got married. Life seemed perfect, blessed with 2 children. However, after Yogesh's death, the family noticed unusual behavior from Priyanka that raised suspicion. From Priyanka's friends, Priyanka had also bought a 22 lakh car as a gift for Rohit, which was unusual for someone who wasn't close. The detective did as much as they could, but now it was up to the police. Priyanka and Rohit were now suspects. The police began their investigation and questioned them. By October 12th, the police cleared both of them, which shocked the parents. The detective agency they hired had found call details, locations, and other evidence pointing to Priyanka and Rohit's relationship. They had spoken 40 times between May 27th and 28th. Rohit's location matched Priyanka's house on the night of Yogesh's death. It was clear that while Yogesh's wife was talking to her boyfriend, he was in the same area. The father took all this evidence to the Haryana DGP, who was shocked and ordered the case to be handed over to the Karnal police. And SIT's special investigation team was formed, and the investigation deepened. The detectives' findings and details were handed over to the SIT. The investigation revealed that Priyanka and Rohit had been seen together many times, even after Yogesh's death, and Rohit had visited their home. The police confirmed these details through official call records and locations. It was also revealed that on that night, he spoke to someone else from a fake number. He had inserted a different SIM card into his phone. If someone is using a particular number on their phone and later switches to another, the police can easily trace this. Earlier, Priyanka and Rohit used to talk on the phone, but on the night of the 27th of May, he took out his old SIM card and inserted a fake one. He had also spoken to 2 other people. At the same time, Priyanka's phone had a call from her own daughter, Yogesh, that night, even though the girl was right there in the house. Why would she make the call? The police first arrested Rohit on the 21st of March 2017. After a bit of hospitality, he started revealing the truth. He confessed that Yogesh was murdered and his wife Priyanka was involved. On the 22nd of March, Priyanka was also arrested from her home in Yamunanagar. This was when the real story behind Yogesh's death came out. It all started in 2015. Priyanka's weight was increasing, and she thought she should join a gym. She joined one, where an instructor named Rohit started training her. Over time, Priyanka and Rohit grew closer, and Priyanka started an extramarital affair with him. In the absence of Yogesh, Rohit would come to their house to meet Priyanka. Around January 2016, Yogesh found out about his wife's affair. One day, he caught them in an inappropriate situation. He got very angry and said that if they didn't stop, he would take them to court and file a case against them. After this, both Rohit and Priyanka apologized, promising not to meet again. The matter seemed to be over, and everything calmed down. However, after a few days, the same things started happening again. Priyanka got angry at Yogesh, started fighting with him, and said that if he told anyone, she would commit suicide and make sure he was blamed, ruining his life and bringing shame to him. Yogesh began to feel distressed. Priyanka could have divorced Yogesh and married Rohit, but Yogesh was a billionaire, and Rohit was living in debt. He owed money to several people. Priyanka decided that she would eliminate her husband to inherit all his wealth and property. It was clear that everything would belong to her after his death, and since his elderly parents could do nothing, she felt confident in her plan. Priyanka spoke to Rohit, who agreed. They needed 2 more people for the job. Rohit met with 2 men, Shyam Sundar, a helper at a hospital, and Satish Kumar, from whom Rohit had borrowed money. Both were from Saharanpur, Uttar Pradesh. Rohit and Priyanka gave them a contract worth rupee 1 lakh. they started planning Yogesh's murder. They decided to sedate Yogesh with an injection and strangle him, then throw his body in a canal. The date was set, the night of the 27th of May. On this night, Priyanka and Rohit made several calls after inserting a fake SIM. The plan was discussed. Around 10 p.m., Priyanka reached the railway station in an Innova car and picked up Sanu and Satish. Rohit also joined them in the car, where Priyanka's 16-year-old daughter was present. They all went to the house. The three men stayed in the car while Priyanka said she would leave the back door open. She signaled them, and then she and her daughter entered the house. They waited for Yogesh to sleep. Around 11 p.m., when they believed he had fallen into a deep sleep, Priyanka opened the back door and signaled the men inside. They entered the house and started talking. Sanu, who worked in a hospital, had brought 2 syringes and sleeping pills. He filled one syringe with the drug and went to Yogesh's bedroom. Upon hearing some noise, Yogesh woke up, and when Sanu tried to inject him, the needle broke. They filled another syringe, but it broke too. The plan was failing. At this point, Priyanka suggested that they couldn't leave Yogesh alive. They didn't have time to get another syringe, so they decided to smother him with a pillow. Priyanka helped with this. As per the plan, they were supposed to dispose of the body, but Priyanka suggested they leave it there, as she knew about heart attack symptoms and could make the death seem natural. There were no external injuries on Yogesh's body, and there was no blood. Afterward, the culprits left, and Priyanka cleaned the room. She waited in the same room for morning to begin her drama. When it was time for Yogesh to wake up in the morning, Priyanka started her act. She called out to people, crying and shouting, claiming her husband had died of a heart attack. She even took him to the hospital, where doctors declared him dead. While the police conducted an investigation, Priyanka convinced everyone that he had died of heart attack symptoms. Priyanka's father, a doctor, supported her, which convinced everyone. Priyanka's parents did everything to ensure no one suspected anything. However, Yogesh's elderly parents grew suspicious. Despite the police not helping, they continued their investigation with the help of private detectives. By the 24th of March 2017, both Sanu and Satish were arrested. Later, Yogesh's father filed a petition in court against his granddaughter, accusing her of aiding her mother in the murder. Despite being in the same house, the daughter spoke on the phone at the time of the murder and acted as a lookout to ensure no one disturbed the crime. After her father's death, she went to Chandigarh to party with her mother and her mother's boyfriend. The case went to court, and after much debate, the High Court acquitted the granddaughter of all charges. Priyanka, Rohit, Sanu, and Satish were sentenced to life imprisonment for Yogesh's murder. They were also fined rupees 60,000. Priyanka's family had attempted to bribe a police officer to avoid complications for their daughter, but the bribe was caught on camera by some media people. Although the police initially denied it, the camera footage couldn't lie. The DGP later filed a case against the family and the police officer involved. Currently, Yogesh Batra's case is in the High Court. Let's end the story here. Please comment and let us know what you think of the video. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to turn on the bell icon. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you.